think the key points are get the people who know what they're doing to be leading it, have a plan, be supportive. You needed to put professional development money behind it. You needed to give some staff time so that teachers would be able to talk. All of those things are critical. It's not just throwing stuff.
Not just throwing bond money
at a pile of computers.
Right, at a pile of computers, or fixing some roof leaks, which are important, but it's about student learning.
Well, and there's two good examples of this at San Marin High School. You know, San Marin High School, they've self-reported, 1/3 the teachers at San Marin High School say that student misbehavior interferes with student learning. Those new teachers need professional training. They need training in classroom management. They need administrators going in there, evaluating them, giving them concrete suggestions for improvement. That's certainly the first part of that is not happening, and the second part of it is not terribly effective because it's still a major concern.
And as a citizen, I have a neighbor, a young neighbor, with a new family, and she taught, young woman taught at San Marin High School, and had to leave San Marin to go to San Rafael to make $25,000 more in order for her to afford to live in this area. So our Novato teachers continue to be terribly underpaid compared to other people in our region, which is really a shame.
Yeah, exactly. Even 20 years ago, I was writing letters of recommendation for young teachers that were starting off, that were successful at Novato High School, to go to schools in the TAM district. Redwood and Drake are two that I have in mind. And they were making, at that point, $10,000 a year more.
Now it's $25,000 according to this lady.
And so the resources, we need to address that problem.
And Measure G, there's no money in that $222 million bond that goes to increasing more teachers to hire or increasing teacher pay. Is that right?
Or, yeah, absolutely. Or in providing professional development for teachers who are struggling.
Right.
In addition to
it's all stuff.
Yeah, this is the key thing. It's the soft money, but the crucial money to make the system work.
And it's borrowing. It's sucking up 80% of our total borrowing capacity in one fell swoop, which means these other things, $222 million. There's no new schools in this. It's not like we're building any new schools, okay, or that we're hiring new teachers or increasing pay for our teachers.
And again, in terms of student learning, San Marin has gone through serious problems in that they're not taking their student test scores and using them to improve instruction. They acknowledge in writing in their own self-study report that they do not use student data to change, to improve instruction. And this is another failure on the part of the leadership of the district. It's the superintendent and the board of trustees. And when I asked them about that, sent them emails, no response. Went down to a board meeting, pointed out that the inconsistency between their goals of engaging the community, being responsive. The response is, we'll get back to you in 2 months, but they don't.
I have found San Marin High School's principal to be very unresponsive to our neighborhood. We've had meetings with him because San Marin High School is important to our neighborhood. And we made suggestions on how to improve. On August 29th, we made suggestions with him and another member of his staff, concrete suggestions in a long meeting with the principal of San Marin High School, suggesting how better to integrate the school with the neighborhood. And he was open and said twice to me that he would reply. I've not heard a word from the man.
Again, we need a more responsive superintendent, a more responsive board. They need to realize that you have to spend money on professional development. You have to give teachers time to implement these new programs and the use of these new technologies. It's not going to happen overnight, but that needs funding as well. It needs to be a priority, not just another thing.
Right. So Jerry, you've been a senior administration educator for years, okay? And what do we do about this? I mean, good schools are essential and important to all of us in Novato because it ensures a great future for our kids if they have good schools. And as a secondary benefit, it improves our home values. Good schools improve house prices. What do we do?
I think one of the things we need to do is to expand the input. We need to get more people, more community members, more parents, more interested citizens involved in the process. We need to
idea.
We need to have more than just the 7 board members and a few people down at the district office talking as though they know everything about every aspect of the district.
Yes.
They don't. They don't know what's going on in a lot of detail at the schools. And also, I think our local press has failed us. Neither the Novato Advance or the Independent Journal has given the kind of coverage that I think is necessary when a high school, formerly one of the best in the county, is suddenly on the rocks. It's in the bottom 3.
Is that the San Marin High School probation?
That's the San Marin High School
Academic
situation.
probation for 2 years?
Academic probation for 2 years. It still hasn't worked its way through that process. And the fact that the public doesn't know this, it gets to the point that we need to have more outsiders, if you will, involved in an oversight process. They need to bring their perspective, their expertise, their concerns, and get them in front of the board members and in front of the superintendent.
And not just some pro forma, possibly rubber stamp type oversight committee on the spending of the bond. You mean an oversight
independent, knowledgeable, strong, agreeable, but willing to criticize personality.
Yes.
If a friend of mine, Rich Gerhardt, he was principal at Sinaloa for 16 years, said, if all you want is an echo, there's no need to hire a second person. There's no need for a second opinion. There's been too many echoes down at that district office, and an unwillingness to accept any kind of input that doesn't agree with their preconceived ideas. I think they're largely well-intentioned, but
Yes.
they certainly are closed and dismissive of any kind of criticism or questioning, and that has to change.
And our high school test scores going down, and our schools being, at best, only average, where we want our Novato schools to be good schools, and the district says it is, but it's not true. That's really played the forfeiture here.
I think the district has been misleading at a minimum in terms of describing certainly San Marin High School as a good school. It needs a tremendous amount of work. The district knows this and has failed to do anything to address it.
Yes.
That's where we need these outside, well-intentioned people to come in and say, wait a second,
Yes.
you need to make some changes here.
Yes,
You
and
need
there's-
to communicate with people that are raising concerns,
Right.
not shut them off.
Parents and voters and taxpayers, just the wonderful intellect and deep feeling that's here in Novato among citizenry that could be tapped
Absolutely.
for bettering our schools, which means a better future for all of us.
Yes,